Hi, and welcome to GradeGov News. Well, happy 4th of July holiday. And before we get into some of the Independence Day well wishes, I wanted to let you know what's going on in Congress. Well, the Senate and the House of Representatives, they are on a 1-week 4th of July holiday recess. But before the Senate went out for the 4th of July, they passed the immigration reform bill. They passed the bill by 68 to 32. Now, what will happen when the House of Representatives receives the Senate-passed immigration bill? When and if the House of Representatives receives the Senate-passed immigration bill, they will raise the blue slip issue. You see, the House of Representatives takes this constitutional duty very seriously. For a little bit of history, let me just say that back in the day, when the founders were creating our Constitution, they decided that any revenue bill, any bill that raised revenue, should begin in the House of Representatives, because when they created our bicameral legislative system, the House and the Senate, they had that the House of Representatives would be the only body represented by the American people, elected by the American people. You see, it used to be that the Senate of the United States, they were elected by the state legislatures. So the House of Representatives protects Article 1, Section 7 of our Constitution very, very seriously. What will happen when they receive the Senate immigration bill, which clearly raises revenues by charging fees? They will have to vote on this question: resolved that the Senate Bill S-744, in the opinion of this House, contravenes the first clause of the 7th section of the first article of the Constitution of the United States and is an infringement on the privileges of this House, and that such bill be respectfully returned to the Senate with a message communicating this resolution. And oh, by the way, another little history lesson. It was 100 years ago this year, in 1913, that our Constitution was amended to allow the United States Senate to be elected by the American people. As you know, we elect our 2 senators also. Now, when the Senate returns from the 4th of July holiday, they will have to deal with the student loan interest rate bill. Remember that July 1, the interest rate for some federally issued student loans doubled. It went from 3.4% to 6.8%. There is a bipartisan bill going through the Senate, been introduced in the Senate, that the Senate will consider when they first get back. Now, the House of Representatives, they'll begin considering the appropriations bills. Remember, the appropriations bills, there are 12 of them. They fully fund the federal government as to the money and the programs that the federal government spends by way of the agencies and the departments. It, in effect, allows them to do their business. That happens the end of September. That's when the federal government's fiscal year ends. It ends September 30. Also, the federal government's debt limit is coming up for expiration. That means that President Obama, around the 1st of October, will no longer be able to write the checks to pay our debts. So you have the federal government's fiscal year ending September 30th, and the president's ability to extend our debt expiring around the same time. Now, the Senate and the House expect to be in session only about 6 weeks between now and that time. They're in about 3 weeks in July, and then they typically take a 1-month recess in August, and then they will come back in September for about 3 weeks before October 1 is upon us, where the debt limit will likely have expired, and the federal government's funding of all our departments and all of our agencies, it'll run out of money too. Those 2 issues will be big, they'll be huge. So needless to say, Congress has a lot to deal with between now and the beginning of the fiscal year, which is October 1. I want to wish you and your family a wonderful, wonderful, blessed 4th of July holiday. I hope you're going to enjoy a barbecue, maybe seeing fireworks, but remember to give thanks to be able to live in this wonderful, wonderful country. And if you see a first responder, If you see a member of the armed forces, tell them thanks. Tell them you appreciate them giving you your independence. Have a blessed holiday, and I'll talk to you next week, so stay tuned.